Okay, so we live in the information age. We also live in a larger, more complex microwave bath that's filled with information, and increasingly it can be tapped, and increasingly the information can be disseminated without it being overseen by anybody. We used to have something called an FCC. Everybody knew when I was a kid what the FCC was if they studied government at all. That's so when you turned on your TV set, your mad scientist neighbor wouldn't be able to jam your watching the TV show of your choice. That got deregulated. Other things have been extremely regulated. So one thing that we are availing ourselves as a world is this Twitter thing. This is really, really good. It's frustrating for people who are old school to see people texting and twittering and about stuff that is inconsequential. However, for the average person, books were once very rare. Say 100 years ago, they were a pretty precious commodity. And then 200 years ago, they were a very precious commodity. And then just in the past, say 70, 80, 90 years, people started writing books about just about anything, and they'd get published. So all these trees got slaughtered for, well, you don't have to go much further than the public library, which people take for granted now. Now, how we consolidate ourselves in events like the Super Bowl, and how we gather as communities now, these little Twitter machines and text machines could bring us together from time to time, just more effectively, more quickly. I know a lot of people who don't like watching the news because they think it's detarded is my new word for it, and it is detarded. The news is detarded because the subject matter is detarded. In order to improve the overall subject matter, paying attention to the news just the right amount for each person is going to be important. I lived in a community that was already doing, in New York, that was already doing pretty much what millionaires want to do when they're through screwing other people out of their money, back to bad luck as an institution. Well, if you see bad luck as an institution and you want to be a millionaire, well, you engineer other people's bad luck. If you want to inspire people and create what I call integrated capitalism, which integrated capitalism is when you create something that not only do people want, but that actually should be, like some breakthrough in the medicine of healing people when they're ill, or we have the term preventive medicine, and then there's having fun. Now, back to the bad luck cycle. I'm named after somebody who was a railroad worker, and that was a groovy job. You got to play with trains all day. However, the workday was long, and for a number of years it was a 6 days a week were worked, full day. And then for a certain period of time, it was 6.5 days. You'd have a half day off on Sunday to go to church. Well, I believe wealthy people became uncharitable after they got sick because of poison cocaine, mostly the cocaine. And then afterwards, the bad ones went, we're not going to stop with a penthouse. We're going to put crack cocaine in the street. It wasn't crack. It happened way quick. There wasn't crack. I lived in New York, and I remember when crack arrived. It was sold to us and was effective enough that people got addicted. Some people, the word on the street was in 2 weeks, people would get way addicted to it. Well, okay, that's happened. Then I went out west and found out it was methamphetamine. There would be a construction job, and there would be high quality speed, and then all of a sudden, right about when the job was about over, people were putting Drano in between their eyeballs. I'd call this a genocide. That's a fancy word where a lot of people get wasted because they're no longer needed. Now that's bad luck as an institution. And of course, if you engineered the bad luck, you don't have to listen to too many 60s songs or songs from any of all of the singers and troubadours and poets that nobody has to come get you. Although that's being institutionalized too. The fake karmic police are out there too. So these are all bad luck things to react to. But the truth of the matter is, the human race wins. It's just a question of we wait out the bad stuff and then it gets better and you get reincarnated and it's better and you're glad you did. Or you do things that radically change. For gay rights, it was Stonewall. It was this little incident and it changed things, not just in New York, where gay people would be arrested by, quite frankly, gay police, and that was part of the institution of being gay, was jail. And then that changed. And within 10 years, when I moved to New York, the power and the freedom that the sexual revolution brought on, not just straight, not just gay, everywhere, was so palpable that I know you could feel the changes across the country, because people were coming from all over the country. And it worked. I'd worked at Christopher Street in Bleecker in Greenwich Village. It was a natural fit for me. I was completely unself-conscious about it. I worked there from 78 till 82, going into 83. By 1985, it was like a bomb of bad luck. Not just the health crisis. There was an institutionalized taking advantage of a reincarnated generation who didn't like America. They knew where they were. I knew where I was. I was in the country that won World War II, and it was a Dino Demo Derby. We were going to have a blast. And we were. And someone institutionalized people who were reincarnated who did not like it here. It was in their reincarnational bones, and someone took advantage of that. And so for the good guys in their 70s, 80s, 90s, the 90-year-old good guys, they won World War II. So they've seen quite a few changes since having won World War II. We've got to convince these people, as they yet live and we yet live, to get ready to have a good time based on more money for less work, to have more fun for everybody. That's the nature of the universe. That's the nature of history. Is time and time again we learn everybody's invited because they are.